All right. Hey everyone, this is Phil with a quick update. The first thing you'll notice, obviously, is that the terrain is, pretty interesting. Quick disclaimer, this is not my terrain. I stole this terrain from another game as an attempt to just get a feel for what it would feel like in this engine, deal with some performance things, etc. So this is not final terrain. And in fact, I think it differs somewhat significantly from the direction that I will be taking the terrain, but that's beside the point. The purpose of this update is to show a couple other changes that I've made. So I'll first start with a really simple one, but that has, pretty significant effect. I've added a size selector. Again, the UI, non-final. I haven't put consideration into that yet. But this feature will show, a bunch of really small changes that have been made. So I'll just really quick get to it. If I want to make a land bridge, for example, I can very simply do that. And doing so is butter smooth. It feels really good. You can see I was already playing around with with that a little bit. Over here, I can just use both hands and just go absolutely nuts. And with zero, hit to performance. And I'm running at 144 frames per second, which is the max that I don't know if that's true of the max that any headset can do, but the max that most consumer grade headsets can do. I'm running right now with the Valve Index and a 1080 Ti, which is admittedly a strong graphics card, but it's certainly not the market strongest. Anyway, so yeah, the couple features that doing this really showcases. One, I've finally got the prediction, the local prediction algorithms working flawlessly. You'll see that there's no flashing. It's absolutely instant when I, press down the trigger of, what gets created. And it's continuous. The server updates, when they come in, the world doesn't change. The frames per second doesn't drop. It feels really, really good. The second thing you've probably noticed is the particles that come off. They're just a fun, juicy thing that I made. They're not final, but they kind of represent an extent that of I don't know. I'm creating like a couple hundred particles, probably 1,000 when I make these really big sweeps, and to no degradation of performance. I can juice them up a bit further, but whatever. So other changes, you can't hear it, but this has spatialized sound, so it really sounds like I'm creating or destroying something in the place that I'm creating and destroying it as I'm doing it. Another thing you can't see, haptics. When I'm waving my hand around like this, I get nice crunchy vibrations, as I'm dragging through this, so it really feels like my hand is, somewhat colliding with something that it's destroying. So I don't know, these series of really small edits all come together to make editing feel really good. And keep in mind, this is being done with these voxels are about a centimeter size. Contrast that to Minecraft, where they are about a meter size, and I know that size is relative, but the idea here is I'm standing up to create a tower of things my height is that's a lot of voxels. I'm dealing with a lot of voxels here, and I'm really proud of how well it's holding up to this many voxels. I'd like to eventually get view distance to be a little bit further. But right now, this is being rendered with 0 levels of detail. So if you see a voxel in the distance, that is the singular voxel. Every single voxel in these chunks are being rendered. Okay, cool. So let's get a little bit away from the unnecessarily technical. And here we go. Whoops, that would be delete. So I still have, obviously, the ability to set commands for these little things to obey. I've gotten a decent visual effect there where they're see-through and they have borders and stuff. But also, a disclaimer I made at the beginning of the last video was that they are not visually synced, and you'll see that that is now no longer the case. They are visually synced. They'll pop in right when these little things, execute their action, complete with particles and audio. And so if you're standing over here and you hear that chuk chuk chuk, then you can get a feel for, something's being built over there, because that's where I heard it. So it really does feel like you are kind of in this space and there are these little things working around you. Let's see. I still haven't, licked every aspect of command building. They still do build things and leave inaccessible. Inaccessible commands sometimes. So I have some ideas for how to solve that, but I got distracted by these flashy, fun, performance tuning kinds of changes. And yeah, I don't know. I like where everything's landed, but my next steps are to solve this, solve the actual thing building command order. I want to name what these things are. The tentative name has been gnomes so far. And then do some terrain generation of my own. And then I think once those three things are done, then I've said this like 5 times, but then the game is really going to open up. I'm going to start being able to, have enemies, have these things fight. You have to, care for these people. You need to collect resources, things like that. I can really get into the gameplay. Okay, I'm not going to waste your time any longer, but there are a host of other changes that I've made that I'm just not talking about, like the chunk loading, the world saving, world compression, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of technical stuff that actually has huge effect to quality of life, but they're not fun to talk about. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and see ya.